up, y'all? This is indeed the E-Man, chilling like a villain, sing like Bob Dylan, keeping on low with some double stuff. Mario. Now I'm going to talk about a movie that just recently came out called Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But I'm not doing it alone. Oh no, this is a roundtable. Okay, so I got three great, incredible people, friends of mine that I'm sure are going to have a lot to bring to the conversation. First person up. I've known this guy since high school, super intelligent cat. He's a dad, and he's a connoisseur. So I want to welcome Brooks into the show. What's up, Brookston?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man. Anytime, brother. Person I got is another friend of mine since high school. He is also a dad, all-around cool guy. Just want to welcome Super Dynamite to the show. What's up,
good,
Super
brother?
Dynamite?
What's good, brother? Good to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And good to see you, man. Finally, we also got another man. He's a dad. He's one half of Stallone and Weathers and 1/3 of the Bash Brothers. I want to welcome Precise to the show. What's up, Precise?
What's going on, man? Good to be here, man. How you doing?
I'm living the dream, brother. I'm just glad to be alive. On each interview that I do, I always start off with the moment of silence. And unfortunately, we lost a few great people. My brother-in-law, his brother recently passed away, and his name was Lonnie Barnes III. I want to put him in the moment of silence. But also some people you might be familiar with, comedian Gallagher, singer Aaron Carter, and the legendary Kevin Conroy, voiced Batman, and he was a great actor. I just want to give a moment of silence for those people real fast. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I want to know your thoughts on the legendary Kevin Conroy. I was really shocked. I just want to say that, I used to race home after school to catch Batman the Animated Series. It was a thing that you had to be there at home to watch. You didn't have an option of binging it. None of that existed. And all of the episodes were great. And he definitely will be missed. What are your thoughts on Kevin Conroy, Precise?
I feel like he helped shape Batman for a generation. Before all these big actors were really tackling, the role and bringing their own magic to the role. Even afterwards, it was still Kevin to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah,
people talk about Batfleck, people talk about Reeves. Excuse me. Everybody else, Kilmore. We ain't even gonna talk about the other joints. Michael Keaton. They all did their thing, but it's like, Kevin was the man for me. Same thing with Mark Hamill. With the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
Every actor brings their own magic to the role, and I appreciate it very much. But it was just something about that animated series, man. And I put that animated series right up there with X-Men, because I felt like it was for kids, but it wasn't for kids. Like, the subject matter was just crazy. And I never really understood why Batman beat those two guys up in front of the bank that blew up, man. He don't know that they did that. You know what I'm saying? He don't know that they did that. Like, if you watch the intro again, two guys, it's dark. They're walking around the bank. The bank blew up. Batman came and beat the tar off of these dudes. I think one dude flew off the roof. And they pulled out their gun because, it's a man in a bat suit at night and the building just blew up. I'm scared. I got a gun. I'm going to pull it. But we don't know if those guys did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the one thing that always bothered me. But I digress. Kevin Conroy, best Batman, as people say, my Batman. It's just a testament of getting older, man. And just, it's like, man, this life is very real and very precious. And it's gone before you know it,
For sure. What about you, B? What are your thoughts on Kevin Conroy?
I echo a lot of the same sentiments as Mike. I mean, he was iconic, like, for our generation. And he had kind of an unfair advantage over all the other Batman because he had multiple episodes and seasons to really cultivate and really shaped the character to the point where everyone my age was thinking, shoot, Kevin Conroy is Batman. I mean, I can only imagine how much of an uproar people would have been in if they'd have tried to do season 3 Batman the Animated Series with somebody else voicing Batman. It was just, it was unheard of. Like, no, Kevin Conroy's Batman. And even in a lot of the Batman games, he voiced a lot of the video games.
The good ones.
Yeah, well, the good ones. But I mean, he definitely had an impact, like to the point where, I mean, you can compare him to live action actors, like actually putting on the Batman suit. I mean, he gave that much to the character. So yeah, man, it's definitely a hit to see another one of our childhood icons gone, you know?
Absolutely. Definitely. And he didn't even originally he didn't want to do the voice of Batman. He wanted to do the voice of Two-Face. I don't know if you guys know that or not.
Oh, wow, I never know.
Yeah. What about you, Super Dynamite? What are your thoughts on Kevin?
It childhood defining, you know what I mean? It's like Brooks said, other people played Batman, but Kevin Conroy was Batman, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm with you on that, having to race home, because there was no such thing as binging it. There was no such thing as the DVD box set. You had to be there. If commercial came on, you run, go get your cereal or whatever snacks you got, and then you got to get back to the TV. And it's, like Precise said, I mean, it's a chunk of your childhood that, we're losing these things. But it's crazy, because one of the things that we're gaining during this season is we're becoming the generation that's iconic to the next generation, which, shout out to Precise, Stallone and Weathers is like the dopest duo name I ever heard. I promise you, first time I heard that song, I was like, yo, that's it. But back to Kevin Conroy, I had to throw that plug in there. But
thank you,
back
brother.
to Kevin Conroy, I mean, he's as essential as Peter Cullen is to Optimus Prime. You know what I mean? So when you hear Batman's voice, it's like, it got to be Kevin Conroy, or it's just somebody pretending. You know what I mean? So it's been an emotional week, man. It's been an emotional week.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really has, man. Really has. Just real quick, I would say, like, one of my favorite episodes of Batman the Animated Series was, I have 2 episodes that's always like in my brain, like burned into my brain. It's like the episode where they're playing, the villains are playing a game of poker, and it's like almost got them,
Almost got them.
And that episode was just so dope. I love the episode Robin's Reckoning, because that's the first time we actually see Robin. And, before then, Robin was like a, silly sidekick, but man, when he's on that motorcycle, when he drags Zuko, man, shoot.
And he do the Akira move and whatnot.
Yeah. Dope, man. Man, he's gonna definitely be missed. He's definitely a legend. And I will say he is a legend, because people are so quick to put that on people nowadays. He's a legend. He's an icon. Nah, that dude was a legend. Kevin Conroy's a legend. Just to give people who are listening and watching, I'm going to be listening and watching, just to let you know, this whole discussion that we're doing about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, 100% spoilers. Easter eggs, jelly beans, peeps, all that's on the table. It's all spoilers. I don't want to hesitate. I just want to have a full conversation about it. So I'm going to put that up top. Spoilers ahead. Okay, so phase 4 of the Marvel MCU, people have their opinions about it. People say it's weird, it's wonky, and it's in disarray. And I've had this discussion before on the previous podcast, and people are entitled to their opinions. I disagree. I feel like a lot of it's by design, the way it's supposed to be with the multiverse, and but I think one of the biggest reasons why the phase 4 feels the way it does is because I feel like Black Panther, the character of Black Panther, was supposed to have a more prominent role in the series, in the phase 4, and unfortunately Chadwick Boseman passed away. And I think that through a huge, I want to be careful what I say, because I don't want to offend anybody, but it's like, I think they really had plans to make him have a more pivotal role. If you really think about it, Black Panther is essentially Captain America and Tony Stark rolled into one. You know, he has the nobility and the strength of Captain America and the fighting skills. He also has the capital and the smarts and the resources of Tony Stark. And both of those characters are no longer in the MCU. When Chadwick Boseman passed away, man, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty devastated for a good day, day or two. It was really unexpected. And then learning that he went through chemo and getting and all of that stuff while filming these great movies. Like, what else can you say? What are your thoughts about Chadwick Boseman? I'm going to start off with Brookston.
Chadwick Boseman, first off, he was a phenomenal actor. If you've seen many of his other works and his portrayals, he did his thing. He really did his thing. I respect him highly as an actor, as a professional, and he really brought like 100% to every role. I mean, he put all of himself out there. And that was even evident in Black Panther because, I mean, he embraced that role so well that it caused controversy. Like, nobody wanted to replace him. It was like Chadwick Boseman is Black Panther. Like, nobody else can play him. And which I mean, I have my thoughts on that, but I understand the sentiment. He was just a good dude. I mean, like, he was doing all this stuff for other people, but he was fighting his own internal battle. Like, the dude was struggling with cancer like the entire time. And I'm sure some people knew, but he was just trying to take it as far as he could go. And there's something inspiring about that. It's like a lot of people, if they got that diagnosis, they would just give up. Like, well, I'm just gonna, just live my life in comfort. I'm gonna try to enjoy stuff the best. This dude went hard to the very end.
Yeah.
And I have nothing but respect for that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Because then, honestly, him continuing on and doing those movies, it was almost like a health risk to him, where he could have been like, he should have been, he could have been getting better or what, whatever the case may be, but he was doing a lot of his own stunts. Hats off to the man. What do you think, Dynamite?
Like Brookson said, nothing but the utmost respect for him because he was iconic. But to be honest, I haven't seen him in anything other than his role as Black Panther. I actually have 21 Bridges, but I never looked at it. I bought it after he passed, and I just couldn't bring myself to look at it because I'm not real big on celebrities like that, but he was one of those guys that I felt like I knew him. You know what I mean? He had that vibe like a genuinely good person. Like, even when he was fighting his own battle, he was visiting children in the hospital.
Yeah.
Even though he was fighting the same battle, he was trying to bring comfort to other people. And that, to me, that was mind blowing. You know what I mean? That touched me. And then, his role as T'Challa, it just meant so much. Like, I don't know. And the way that movie brought people together, like everybody, it was just like so much love in the theater when I was there. Even on seeing this movie, it was you could feel the love in the building. You know what I mean? It was like a family reunion. I'm expecting somebody to pass me some potato salad or something. It just brought that whole, I don't know. It just, I'm feeling a lot right now. So it's kind of hard to articulate it. But Chadwick Boseman was that dude, man. He was that dude. He really was. And so, when he passed, it hurt, you know what I mean? Like, he was, like somebody that I knew personally, or, yeah.
Yeah. And it like you said, he was so young, he does feel like it's somebody that you would know because he's from the South, like us.
From South Carolina, right? I think.
South Carolina, Anderson. Yeah. Well, Precise, what are your thoughts on Chadwick?
Just to shoot this to Dynamite, you would be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't watch him in Get On Up, the James Brown story.
Okay.
So to me, that was his best role. I love him in Black Panther. I loved him in 21 Bridges. I mean, I'm from New York, and he got the New York stuff down pat. But to see him as James Brown is an experience that you have to have. If you have
Yeah.
the way you feel about him,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? So I urge you to go see that when you can. It's a great time. About him, man, like, so that role that I was speaking about, James Brown, and the other roles that he played, that made me fall in love with him as an actor. What
Okay.
made me fall in love with him as a man is I watched the interview he did for Black Panther, and he started to cry. He started to cry because he was talking about how all of the children, how the Black children was just so happy that it was on screen, and the representation, and he was so humbled that he was the one that was chosen to play this serious role and this important role for all reasons. He just broke down and cried. Now, knowing what we know now, I imagine, was he just crying because of the joy, or because of he knew that there's going to be a time when this ends? He knew more than we knew,
Right.
which brings me back to that scene over and over again. And it makes me respect him even more. Like Brookston was saying, that man gave his all. Not only
Yeah.
did he give his all, he gave his last.
That's
Because
crazy.
I've seen people go through chemo. My parents went through chemo at the same time. I've seen them hold hands in chemo. I've seen what it can do to the body. And to have him going through all of that and still doing what he was doing and doing his own stunts,
Yeah.
interviews, not turning people away, embracing people even more, you know, that's courageous. And for anybody in any type of profession, whether it's, you know, music or any type of art or whatever you're doing, when you see and hear stories like Chadwick's, you push harder and push through what you're going through. So in many aspects, the man and the actor, he is an inspiration to people everywhere, especially our people, because it is what it is. But
Facts.
to people everywhere in all professions, man. And that's why it's such a heavy blow to everyone that knew about him. But it's also something where I can smile and say, you know what? Well done. You know what I'm saying? You
Facts.
did your
Facts.
thing on this earth. And this conversation right here shows how much of an impact you made, to the point where the next movie, the first 15, 20 minutes, pretty much all about him. And then the post, the mid credits scene. I mean, hell, man, he made such an impact, and that's what he was done. That's what he was here for, and his job was done, and he did it very well. So it's sad. I'm sad for selfish reasons, but I'm also proud because I got to experience all of that. You know what I'm saying? With him, it feels like I experienced it with him, even though I was watching just as a fan. So
Yeah.
that's how I
Yeah.
feel about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Beautifully said, man.
Very well put. I was actually in Augusta during the season when Get Out came out, and everybody, James Brown crazy in Augusta, Georgia, and whatnot. So yeah,
Yeah, get on
I
up.
need to
You
go
need to
back.
watch Get On Up, bro. Get On Up is such a dope movie, and he kills it as James Brown. You forget who's playing him.
For
You
real.
think you're just watching James Brown. Like, it's better than Jamie Foxx's Ray. And Jamie Foxx's
Whoa.
Ray is that's the standard, bro.
That's top tier, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But to me, in my humblest of opinions,
Yeah.
his James Brown was better than Jamie Foxx's Ray, and it's no shot to Jamie Foxx's Ray.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that a shot.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I've seen Get On Up. That's actually the first movie because I didn't see 42, but I saw Get On Up. I was like, wow, and later after, I saw 21 Bridges, which people slammed. I thought that was a great movie, so for sure. So all right, so Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Again, spoilers, guys. Spoilers. My quick thoughts on it before I get to you guys. What the movie accomplished what it needed to accomplish. Yeah, I'm gonna say, given the circumstances, because it's not like Chadwick Boseman is still here and he was ego tripping, was like, okay, I'm not gonna play Black Panther anymore because they're not giving me enough money. You know what I'm saying? Keaton did that in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Robert Downey Jr. kind of did it or whatever. I guess, well, Robert Downey Jr. was different because he felt like, I guess he was just tired of playing the role. He just wanted to keep, move on. But for them to lose the star of their movie, Ryan Coogler, have to rewrite a script from scratch, have to introduce 2 new characters, right? You have to pay tribute to the man in a way where it's not gonna offend people. The right decision in what they did with the movie. I'm not gonna talk too much. I think they made the right decision. They did it the way exactly what it should have been done. Is it a perfect movie? No, it's not perfect. But I don't go to movies for perfection. I go to movies to learn something, and I go to movies to be entertained. I got everything I needed to get out of that movie. So I want to know your thoughts of the movie, and I'm going to start off with Brookston.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack because there was a lot that went on in the movie. And I like that you touched on the fact that, Ryan Coogler. Now, first off, I do want to say this was not as good as the first one. I do not believe that this was overall as good a movie and as good a presentation as the first Black Panther. Black Panther did a great job of an origin story, of introducing this character, introducing this world of Wakanda, introducing the culture, and the impact that it's had is always going to be felt. And it was a tough act to follow. I like this movie and I took it for what it was worth for several reasons. When I look at comic movies in particular, I'm a comic head first and foremost. So I'm looking at how it measures up to the source material. Like even the places where they deviate, the new ideas, because sometimes the innovations are better than the actual comic. Other times it's just better to just stick to the script, like it's been laid out for you. But with this, with all the liberties that they took with the script and the characters, and I have to say Ryan Coogler, he did a very good job with the script. Now, was it an A1 script? No. But considering the content and considering what he had, basically he had his work cut out for him. Because it's like the bag. If Black Panther's not going to be in it, why are you making a Black Panther movie? That's kind of what everyone was thinking at the beginning after he passed. But he manages to write a script that is very, very heartfelt. I mean, this movie was very much a love letter to Chadwick Boseman. And I really, really appreciate that. And it's like the actors in the movie, they did not have to dig deep to draw from that raw emotion from losing their friend. Like those tears were real. Like that emotion was real. Like all of that was real. And it was definitely, put on the forefront for everyone to see. It's a Black Panther movie, but Namor stole the show. I was skeptical at first, but the way Namor and Atlantis was portrayed, I absolutely loved it. Because my first thought was, okay, DC's already done Atlantis with Aquaman. So We've already seen that world on screen. So they have to, they got to do something different that's not biting off the style of, the DC universe. And the way that they did it, I love it. Like I love the culture, because the culture that you got from the first Black Panther, you get some more of this different culture from this underwater empire, that's not, it's like they're not anything like the Atlanteans of DC, like different origin, different culture, different everything. And I love the contrast, and I love how it wasn't like some bargain basement ripoff of what's been done before. I love the showcase of Namor's powers. They showed him as a threat because in the comic, he is a threat. Love to see him, how he was pivoting in the air with those wings. Oh my gosh. Those were some of the best action sequences in the movie. He was true to his attitude. Namor is very arrogant. He's very cocky. Of course, they had to kind of tone it down a little for the movie. Otherwise, he'd just be completely unreasonable. But he managed to show the fact, true to Namor's character, that above all else, Namor is going to do what is best for his people. Right. Like that is the pinnacle. And it took someone as iconic as his own mother to get him to back down, to get him to say, I yield. Because that's not something he does all the time.
Oh my God. I could not wait until it was my turn to touch on that. You are so right. Please go. Please keep going, preach. Oh my God.
So, now mind you, that last fight was not nearly as epic as it should have been. It was incredibly lackluster, that last fight. She had the right plan. She had the right plan because yes, Namor is weak out of water. If you dry him out, you weaken him, you have your shot. But I'm sorry, that the action sequences, the execution of that last fight could have been done so much better. I think. You see him spill all of his intentions to Namor at the end of the movie. He was like, the surface is going to come for them, and they're going to look to us. So we're going to get our chance. We're going to have our fight. In the heat of the moment, in the heat of battle. I mean, Namor is not known to yield to anyone. This dude is as strong as the Hulk when he gets in water. He's one of the most powerful mutants on Earth. And so for him to be in a position when Shuri had that blade to his neck, and he saw that vision of his mother, like, there are very few people that Namor respects, period. I mean, you can be a blonde bombshell with powers. He loves them. But, I mean, his mother, when she was reaching out, like, I'm not going to lie, man, that touched me. Mm-hmm. That touched me. Like, when I saw that scene, because it took someone so iconic and someone so, like, beloved in his eyes to get him to do things another way. And that's how Namor is. Like, unless it takes a character or a person that he respects, he ain't budging. He ain't moving. By conventional standards, he is somewhat unreasonable. And I like the fact that they showed his power level. Like, when he hit M'Baku in the chest,
oh man,
like, you could tell, like, that dude could have took him out right then and there.
Yeah,
he could have taken him out. He held back. And one of my favorite scenes in the movie was when he was talking to Queen Ramonda, and he was talking to her, and he stood in her face, and he didn't say, I'm going to come back and kill all of you. He said, I'm going to come back and kill you.
Kill you.
And he did it.
That was hard.
And
that
he
was
did it.
Very disrespectful.
Oh my gosh. This dude flew off and got these, I don't know, these advanced water bombs or whatever. I don't know what kind of technology this is. And threw him in the daggone palace and straight drowned the queen. And everyone else is like, oh, save the queen, save the queen. This nigga already knew she was dead. I'm sorry, pardon my French. He already knew she was dead. Like, he's pointing the finger. He's like, you're the queen now.
Yep. Yeah.
He did his fires off. That was so hard, man. That was so hard. I love Namor's introduction into this film because it's another power player. It's another threat. Kind of like Black Adam was introduced. Well, okay, he's another power player. He's definitely a threat. And they both definitely have that kind of anti-hero vibe to them, you know? So those are my thoughts on Namor specifically and Atlantis. I love the character development in this movie.
Oh yeah.
I love, like, you see M'Baku, in the first movie, he was just kind of like this outcast upstart, wanting the crown or whatnot, who kind of came around toward the end. This dude is like a revered council member. He's like a voice of reason. And he still gets down, he's still beating people up. I mean, he got his chest caved in, but he still did his thing, Okoye. Like, you see a level of emotion, like, you really see the depth of Denai Guerrero's, like, acting prowess. Because that's another character that you really can't see anybody else playing. Like you
Right,
can't
right.
really see anybody else playing Okoye, you know? And the depth of emotion when she went to, like, you really felt it. Like you felt the how tense it was in that throne room.
Oh
Because
yeah,
it was
yeah.
Okoye's idea. It was Okoye's idea to say, oh, just I'll be with her. I'll be with her. And then she failed. And then she had to look her queen in the eye. And she's like, nah, you're done. You're done. And just to see like Denai pull from that range of emotion, I'm like, this woman is talented. Can we all give it up for the queen?
Yep.
Can we all give it up for the queen? Because that woman, yet again, I mean, she just radiates strength, grace, beauty, like, whew. I mean, that woman could come to Wilson, North Carolina right now and tell me what to do. I'll be like, yes, Queen Mother. And I do whatever. I do whatever she said. You know what I'm saying? Like she has this regal authority about her. And just the way she handled those soldiers, she brought them in the UN on their knees.
Yes, sir.
Like,
That was hard.
Like that's hard.
That was hard.
And it's like, yo, y'all can't, the evidence is right here. Y'all have been warned. Hats off to Angela Bassett. Hats
She
off
should
to
have
her.
been had an Oscar, man. Ben had an Oscar.
That
Way
woman
overdue.
is super talented. And the roles that she plays, and she plays them with conviction. She plays them with like you can't deny. Like when I saw her in when she played Tina Turner.
Oh yeah, what's love got to do with it?
Man, that was memorable for me. And this is yet another memorable performance from her because she was just so whew, she's so regal, just so graceful, so whew.
Yeah. And she should have played Storm originally in X-Men. I'm just saying.
Dude, I think she would have stole the show. She would have
completely would have stole the show.
She would have stole the show. But I mean, the character development, like you see Nakia, like, you know, she gave up her spy life and she's coming out of retirement now to, you know, to rescue Shuri. And the character development from the core cast, from the characters, like I really enjoyed that. I like seeing stuff carry over like that when you can see that character growth and you can see that character progression. And I feel like that they pulled that off really, really well. One minus, I did not like the fight scenes in this movie. It felt a little jumbled up. It felt like a little congested. The fight scenes from the first movie were more fluid. They were more believable. They were more, I feel like they were executed better. I don't know if it had anything to do with the stunt work or the camera angles or whatever, but the fight scenes just did not look as good in this movie. It was cool kind of seeing Wakanda get blown up and them kind of actually having been on the ropes, because you can tell like they've never been in that situation before. And you can really tell the measure of a person or a people when they're in a crisis. Because I mean, if you're weak in a crisis, you're weak in the way they handled it, the way they came together, the way they, you know, persevered. That definitely showed a lot about the strength of the Wakandan people. And I feel like, you know, continuing on from the first movie, that was something that was very important to showcase. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed the movie for what it was worth. I like some of the deviations that they made from the comic. I love the inclusion of Killmonger, because to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be Bast. I thought it was going to be the Panther guy, because a lot of people don't know, but in the comic, when a member of the royal line ingests the heart-shaped herb, they have to stand before Bast.
Yeah.
And they have to be judged by her. And
right.
Depending on the state of that person's heart, they might not make it. Like, you might not survive. She might devour you, or she just might flat out reject you. And in the comic, when Shuri stood before her, she rejected Shuri because Shuri basically had coveted the mantle of her brother for like most of their childhood. And she was like, you know, your motives aren't right. And when she came before Shuri, she was kind of arrogant, pretentious, and Bast didn't like that. So she was rejected. But later on, she gained the powers because the country was under threat, and she put on the suit anyway, and she faced down the bad guys. And so Bast, she was like, okay, you can have it now. So that's who I thought it was going to be at first. But the fact that it was Killmonger, part of me was like, you should have figured that out, because you know how close him and Coogler are. He was bound to show up in the next movie somehow. But it makes perfect sense because in the comic, Shuri's personality is much more edgy than T'Challa's.
Yeah.
She's a lot more aggressive. She's a lot more brash. If you could, kind of put T'Challa over here and Killmonger over here, she would kind of be in the middle.
Middle, right.
And so it made perfect sense for her to see N'Jadaka in her while she was under. It was definitely fun seeing her have to grapple with all that, because the vengeance and the hot-headedness that we see in this movie, that's essentially Shuri's character in the comics,
right.
So as a comic head, I was really, really glad to see that. And that I'm like, okay, they did their homework. Like they know like the source material. I'm a big proponent of paying homage to what came before. And there were definitely a lot of nods to the original material. And of course, huge nods to Chadwick Boseman. So it's like I took the movie for what it was worth. I enjoyed it for what it was worth. It was long. I like long movies. I don't care how long, just tell the full story. Tell the full story. I don't want to be left hanging. I don't want to let's fill in all the plot holes. Give me a complete story. And if it takes long, I don't care. So without taking up any more time, that's my nutshell review.
Right. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Precise. I'm gonna go back to what I was thinking.
Okay. So the thing about this movie is I had to see it twice to really enjoy it. The first time I did not enjoy it because I went in there with doubts, and I went in there with comic book arrogance. I'm like, I already know this movie ain't gonna be good. Chadwick not in it. I don't want to see Siri. I don't want to see his sister be Black Panther. She's too skinny. I was right about that. He did not look good in that suit. I'm sorry. It didn't look good. And Namor would never. He could see his mother. He could see Santa Claus. Namor would have never yielded. Never. Even though they put that, hey, they're going to go to them. And everything Brookston said he got that right on the head. But to me, Namor would never. Namor would have killed her on that beach. And if you know that your power is water, why are you jumping in the ship just like that? I guess that was Namor's arrogance. I mean, there's rage, but be smart. You know your power. If you talk to Superman, be like, I bet you won't say that in this red sun room. He'd be like, yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying? Because he know his limitations. I feel like Namor would know his limitations. Namor had them so shook that the powers that be of Wakanda would not even speak his name to the outsiders because he told them not to. Don't say my name to nobody else. All right. And so they was on the bead phone and she was like, all I can say is blah, blah, blah. I'm like, he told the queen of Wakanda to shut up. Don't say my name or I'm going to come for you. And she didn't say his name. The only time she crossed him was when her daughter was in danger. And that was such a dope story arc. That is so dope to show the power of the Black mother. That was so dope. She took off the queen. I don't know if y'all caught this, but she took off the head wrap and was like, whoa, my daughter's in trouble. Do whatever it takes to get her. And she brought in that super fine spy. Oh my God, she got even finer the second movie. How did that happen? I don't know. But good God, yo, she was just so I mean, when she was walking with the soldiers and then she switched and walked over to to Shorty, that switch was so mean. I said, man, I shouldn't be focusing on that, but I can't help it. But anyway, so Namor would never. I loved that they had the number one most important line in that movie was when Namor said, I was born a mutant. That was so important.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think people understand the scope of how important that was. That's letting you know, like, hey, we messed up X-Men, but give us some time. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what I took from that. The character development was awesome. I mean, Brookson gave an absolutely awesome review. I'm just pretty much like, not the rebuttal, but I'm talking for the regular man now, because when I saw the movie today, because I respect you, E-Man, and what you're doing, I was like, let me see the movie again so I can really speak intelligently about it. And so I went in there as a regular dude, not trying to do the comic book thing. And I really enjoyed it more, man. Like, I really enjoyed it. I was like, man, I still got emotional at the same parts. And it takes a lot for a movie to do that to me twice. You know, I loved the young lady that played Ironheart. I thought she did a great job. That Ironheart suit was not cool to me when she rose up. When she rose up in that new suit, I heard the Metroid theme because
stupid.
she looked so much like Samus. I can't get over it.
Samus vibes. That's true.
Yeah, when she rose up, I heard. If they would have did that at a tribute, I'd have lost it in there, and I'd have said this movie's the best movie ever. But anyway, so yeah, definitely had Samus vibes. Namor would never. All the culture that was put in there. I mean, there was 7 different languages in that movie, and that was just so beautiful, man. I love that they brought Haiti into that movie. For some reason, that is so important to me. Like, I was like, wow, they brought Haiti into the joint. Like, this is great. You know what I'm saying? Representation off the charts. Those fight scenes were ugly. I don't understand. I'm sorry. They were ugly. He right about that now, especially on the side of the boat mountain thing when, they were fighting on the side of it. I was like, this don't look good. I don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I appreciated it that they did that. I thought that the Atlanteans were a little Avatarish, and it didn't help that the Avatar trailer came on right before this movie. If I was writing Google, I'd be like, look, I don't want no Avatar nothing near my movie for reasons. Like, I don't want no trailers. I don't even want the poster next to mine. You know what I'm saying? Because they were blue and everything. Your man was like, why are they blue? I was like, yeah, see, you shouldn't have did that.
But hold on, pause.
Yeah.
They were blue they're not blue in water, but outside on the surface world, they are blue.
Yeah, that's right. And I understood that. I still didn't like it though. But they did their thing. You know what I'm saying? If you watch the movie and not have doubts, like I did the first time, you have to not let Chadwick go, but you have to understand that this is a different movie. I don't think it should have been called Black Panther. I think it should have been called just straight up Wakanda Forever. Don't say Black Panther 2, just say Wakanda Forever, or say Wakanda the Year After, or Wakanda the Rise of Namor. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of those titles I would have loved better than Black Panther, because like you said, people are like, Black Panther's not in it, mew, mew, mew. And then people who feel like women can't fight think that, oh, she shouldn't have been Black Panther. It's like, no, women can fight. You see all them guards, they was getting down with their bad selves. Loved the representation so much, man. I mean, those women were getting down, man. And the emotion that they all had to pull, that was just such a beautiful thing, man. It was a beautiful thing to see, Ironheart getting along, and she had good personality. I liked it a lot. It wasn't too comic relief, and Marvel's known to do that to characters, but she was awesome. The effects were awesome. You know what I'm saying? Yo, M'Baku, that's my dude. He needs his own movie. I don't care if he's not popular enough. Man Ape needs his own movie. I want him to have his own movie. I do. MCU has the machine and the money to make him a standout character. He already is to me. He was great in part 1. Part 2, he meant something in this one. I want him to have his own. I want to see his rise to power. I want to see his origin story. I want to see it. I do. I don't care if you get it wrong. I want to see it. I think he's phenomenal. You bald-headed demon. I can't wait to
That was hilarious.
You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to call somebody that. You know what I'm saying?
It's coming. It's
I
coming.
mean, it's bald-headed demon. Like, I was like, that is great. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate that. If you watch the movie and not be a comic book snob about it, it's a great movie. I still feel like without Namor, it would have been a BET special or a Lifetime movie. But because Namor was in it, he put in just the right spice, the right sazon to make it the dish that it is, yo. Namor was so awesome. Fighting scenes were ugly. Acting was superb. Everybody acted their behind off. It was really nice to see Elaine from Seinfeld in that too. That was pretty cool. Um, you know, I just appreciate what they did because of what they had to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a sports head, you know, you lost your quarterback, but you still got to go out there and play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They lost their number one. They lost their big gun. They lost Chadwick. The fact that they still went out there and gave it their all, that right there speaks volumes to me. And as a fan, regular or comic book head, I appreciate that. And a lot of people should appreciate that. They won't, but they should. You know what I'm saying? They worked with what they had, and it was great. It's just it wasn't the best. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm not gonna try to be too hard on it since I've seen it the second time. You know, hey, I saw it twice, so it can't be that bad. Definitely go see it. Take your kids to see it, especially your daughters. I think it's a wonderful movie, man. I think it's cool. Namor would never, though. Namor would never. And Siri would have got rocked to sleep on that beach, in that desert, whatever the case is. You know your weakness. You know what not to do. Namor would have known that. Namor would have killed her. She was way too skinny in that suit. She drunk some Damatat and then had fighting skills. And then I understand it was the heart. It was the herb. I understand that. But coming from a regular guy's perspective, she drunk some Damatat and went toe to toe with a god. I mean, he was a god, bro. They called him the serpent god. He was a god, yo. And it's like, no, no. I know the hero has to win. I know, but no. Namor would never. He stuck a spear through Shorty. You know what Namor would have done? Brooks can correct me if I'm wrong. If Namor would have stuck that spear through Shorty, he'd have cracked the neck too, and he'd have said something smooth. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
No, I concur because that when Namor kills somebody, he kills somebody.
Yes.
Like
I
he
mean,
makes
he gets you up out of here.
sure you don't get up.
Yes. And you broke my wing ankle. You broke my ankle wing. You broke it. My beautiful ankle wing, bro. You broke my ankle wing. I'd have got you up out of here, you skinny panther. There's no way. And you talking trash? Yield. Who? Me? Namor? The serpent god? Are you crazy? I got different names. Let me get up and get me a glass of water. I'll be right back. Man, I'd have been wilding on Shorty. Like Namor would never. And that's all I'm gonna say, man. Great movie, go see it. But Namor would never.
Gotcha. That's hilarious, dude. Yes. Dynamite, what you think?
Well, I need to watch it a second time. I told you that I wouldn't, you know what I mean? That I seen it once and one time was enough because my first time viewing it, it was strictly off emotion, you know what I mean? Because I knew the first Black Panther movie is one of my favorite Marvel movies. So it's already a hard act to follow. And like the fella said, you know what I mean? Now the team got to go out there without their quarterback. You know what I mean? So it's already a hard act to follow as it is. Now you got to do it without Chadwick. And so it's like, it met my expectations because I knew what they had to work with, you know what I mean? But the emotional toll of it, like everybody, it seemed like their acting stepped up to another level to the point that that's real. You not acting when you crying right now. When she leaning all over the casket and crying and carrying on, it's like, yo, I'm feeling that because it's like that was real. The emotion was real, you know what I mean? And I think I was too much on the emotion edge when I was watching it. I need to see it again and watch it objectively, you know, from a comic book nerd perspective, you know what I mean, to like properly assess it because they pulled the scab off with the opening scene when she was going through trying to recreate the heart-shaped herb. That was like, that set the tone and that emotional thread went through the whole movie for me, you know what I mean? So when everything was going wrong, I'm like, man, nah, you know what I'm saying? So stuff just kept happening. And like when Okoye lost Shuri on the bridge, when she was in the water and she screamed, it was like, yo, I felt that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So much of it didn't feel like acting to me. Even Namor, to be honest, I don't know a lot about Namor like that. Just that I just know he's strong and he's arrogant as crap. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know that he could really match the Hulk's strength. I didn't know that. But when he hit M'Baku and broke through his armor, I was like, man, you about to kill my man. You know what I'm saying? Because like like the fella said, the character development was crazy in this one. Like from Okoye to M'Baku, they were two of my favorite characters in it. They need their own spinoff. You know what I'm saying? They need their own spinoff with Disney Plus special or something. You got to give them more shine. They need more room to shine. And with the multiple languages, I like how at one point they switched the color of the subtitles to let you know they were speaking two different languages. You know what I mean? When the spy was speaking, I can't think of her name. The spy was speaking to the elder when she was first, finding out about Namor and whatnot. It was so much that I need to watch it to really like speak on it objectively. There's nothing I can say about it that the fellas didn't already say, except for the emotional toll. When Namor leaned close to the queen and said, "I'll kill you." That was hard. Like it was so many hard moments to that. Namor is hard as crap, yo. And that last fight scene, the introduction
what about when he
of
told
Ironheart.
I'm sorry.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was gonna say, what about when he told them you have a week to mourn your dead? I was like, oh my God.
How you gonna tell me when I'm done?
He gave him a week off.
Like he's arrogant and he can back that arrogance up. It's like I'm legit scared now. I'm trying to put on a strong face, but I'm scared of what you might do to my country. Like, and then when he delivered the vibranium detector, like right there in front of them, he delivered it, and they didn't know when did this get here. You know what I'm saying? So this dude is like doing crap, and he's saying that I have enough soldiers to destroy Wakanda. Either you're going to join me or I'm going to destroy you. And then you see that he has the ability to do that. What do you say to that? So he was a scary threat to them. And then I'm already in my emotions, like, you know what I mean? Like, man, yo, what Wakanda going to do? You know what I'm saying? I'm scared along with you because I'm along for the ride. I'm scared along with you. Like, what is Namor in Atlantis going to do? And then, trying to cover Atlantis after Aquaman did it, which, Aquaman was pretty much Black Panther underwater anyway, you know what I mean? So they kind of going around in circles. But go ahead, bro.
No. I was pointing at you because I was like, that's a really good point, man. That's why I was just agreeing with you. Go ahead.
Oh, nah, y'all opinion mean a lot because y'all are well versed in the comic aspect as well as the movie aspect. So it's like, so when you did that, you know what I mean? And now you got to go to Atlantis behind Aquaman, and Aquaman and Namor are very similar to each other. You know what I'm saying? They did a really good job with it. So I would say that movie, I loved it, but I didn't like it. And that's simply off of emotion, not dealing with the quality of the movie, but the emotional level is like, I can't watch this again. But I need to watch it again so I can see it objectively. I got all that out of my system. I got juicy eye multiple times. I got that out of my system. Now I can go and watch it as a nerd. You know what I'm saying? And so it was, I loved it, but I didn't like it.
Yeah. I'm just listening to everybody's opinions. And I was, when Brookson said, it wasn't better than the first movie. And I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, well, is it really supposed to be better? I mean, we all know it's not going to be because Chadwick was in it. I'm thinking the whole purpose of the sequel is just to continue on with the story. And they bravely did that without their star to pray, to pay tribute to him, not to necessarily be better than the first film. That, I mean, I don't know. I was thinking about that when he said that, and one of the big things that really I didn't like about that movie that really kind of got under my skin during the funeral scene. I'm like, okay, where's Cap? Where's Bucky? Where's Clint? Where's Sam? Where's Bruce? They all should have been there.
I didn't even think about that.
Where
I
were
thought
they?
about it, but I kind of let it go. But it's like everybody's broke. None of the Avengers got no money. I thought the Avengers had money. Like you see, Falcon was broke. I mean, Falcon was broke, Hawkeye was broke, but it wasn't broke, but they was like movie broke. Movie broke is like you saying you ain't got no money, you ain't got no resources. You got just enough resources to keep the story going. You know what I mean? You're not going to run out of gas 20 miles from the next plot point. You know what I'm saying? But you got enough to keep the story going. You know what I mean? And I thought that about Iron Man 3 too, when the president was in danger. It's like, where the rest of the Avengers at? You know what I mean? But I'm sorry, I interrupted you. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. No,
That
no, no,
resonated
no.
with me though.
I like the interjection. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I just feel like, you see everybody and their mama at Tony Stark's funeral, but I'm thinking specifically if at the minimum, Sam should have been there because he got the wings from Wakanda.
Yeah.
Bucky
definitely
should have been there. He has his arm from. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I was slightly disappointed in that. I found Riri to be just a little annoying. There's only one Iron Man reference. They're like, oh shit, she got a Iron Man suit, and that's it.
That's it. You're right about that. He's like, oh
yeah,
shit, she got
they did.
Oh, that's it for that. Well, she hit him with that unibeam though. When he was flying over the water, and she hit him with that unibeam, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You should have said I'm Ironheart or something. Damn. You right
something.
about that. Yeah.
This is the big question, because Brooks kind of touched on it. He said he had his opinions about it. Do you think they should have went with the original script and recasted T'Challa? So, Brooks, what you think?
That's a very controversial subject, especially in the nerd world at this point in time. Initially, I was like, they need to recast this role because Black Panther is bigger than one man. I don't think it's disrespectful to recast the role. That doesn't say anything, like that doesn't spit on the legacy that he, like, you can't spit on it. You can't disparage him because he did his thing. He bought all the gravitas, he bought everything to the role to make it what it was. And I just think it would be a disservice, like, to just Black kids everywhere to not have that role model, to not have that on-screen presence of the Black Panther. I understand that Chadwick was a one-of-a-kind individual, but like I said, Black Panther is not just one man. Black Panther is not Chadwick Boseman. Black Panther is T'Challa, who could be played by anyone who could fill those shoes. Now, considering the circumstances, I understand that the people who had to work with him and the loss that they suffered, right. I understand that heavily impacted not recasting the role, because I can understand how that might be too much for some of the people that actually bonded with him. And actually, it's a testament to just how much of a genuine dude this was, because it affected his coworkers to the point where, look, let's just let him sleep. Like, let's not touch this. And I think that had a lot to do with Feige's decision to not recast the role because of how much it affected the coworkers. And it's like, okay, I don't want a non-cohesive movie by interjecting this new character and trying to recast and have friction, distance, non-cohesiveness among this stellar cast. So if he had to make that choice, I understand that. I feel like it was, they were kind of between a rock and a hard place, because like I said, I feel like the mantle, the role of Black Panther is so important to brown children everywhere, to look up and see him, to see this powerful Black man, this king on screen. But on the flip side, it's like I understand, it's like I understand. And it's already been done. Like they already, they released the movie, they showcased his funeral and everything. So it's been done. So if they recast him down the line, I mean, I'll probably be up with it. I'll probably be okay with it. But he's got big shoes to follow. He's got big shoes to fill. If they don't, I feel like it's kind of a loss, as far as like I said, young people and representation. So after seeing the movie and after seeing the raw emotion of these actors and people who had this bond with him,
Right.
it kind of made me kind of recant my stance to a more middle ground.
Gotcha.
It's like, I understand. Like I, in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, this is for the culture. This is for everybody. This is not just one man. But when I see that and I recognize the circumstances, I'm kind of down the middle.
I understand. It's good. Yeah. I feel you. What about you, Dynamite?
Well, as far as recasting T'Challa, I always felt like they're going to do it, but first they need to give the people the time to mourn, co-stars and fans alike, because of, what he meant to everybody when he embodied that role. It meant a lot to everybody, all of us, And so I felt, but then at the same time, business is business. And Disney, they just made mad money off this first movie. So they're not going to just let it go. They're going to recast them, but they had to time it right. And so, and I felt like, okay, he did Civil War, then he did this movie, his first solo movie. They're not going to replace him in the second because he just passed. I think they'll have another T'Challa by the time they do Black Panther 3, because in the meantime, they introduced the multiverse. You have time travel, you have the quantum realm, you have all of these things going on. So I'm like, they can easily just have another T'Challa from another world where his Wakanda was destroyed. So I'm guessing there's going to be a T'Challa from another universe that Namor destroyed his Wakanda. So he's a king without a kingdom. And now you have a kingdom without a king, and he's just going to come over. And that way they can recast T'Challa without replacing Chadwick. So they're recasting the character. They're recasting Black Panther, but not recasting T'Challa. He's going to be T'Challa, but there's an excuse for him not being Chadwick. And you can just go on and, pick back up. Because I feel like all of Phase 4, Wakanda Forever included, it all suffered from Chadwick Boseman's passing, because like you had said, I believe that T'Challa was going to be a central part of Phase 4. And so that's why Phase 4 seemed so without direction, because he was going to be the one to anchor it. Because at first it was S.H.I.E.L.D. anchoring the Avengers. Then after S.H.I.E.L.D. got compromised, it was Stark Industries anchoring the Avengers. And then after that was compromised, I think it was going to be Wakanda, because Captain America got his suit from Wakanda. Ironheart got her armor from Wakanda. Wakanda is the only one with money and resources to actually do anything. Where your jet's going to come from now? Nobody really got money like that anymore. So I think that all of Phase 4 suffered during this mourning period for Chadwick Boseman. And now, after his Secret Wars and everything comes out, they're going to move along with a new T'Challa, Black Panther, King of Wakanda. Now, I actually wonder if they're going to move away from Wakanda, because M'Baku stepped off the ship challenging anybody for the right to be king, because Shuri wasn't there. So he's like, who wants to challenge me? So I think he's going to end up being the king of Wakanda. And now that, did Shuri actually move to Haiti, or is she just there to burn her garments and mourn? And then you introduce the young T'Challa, the new T'Challa, T'Challa Jr., if you want to call him T'Challa Jr., you introduce him. Now, is he going to go through something in the quantum realm and grow up, and then that's going to be your replacement? I got a lot of thoughts about that. Just a lot of thoughts and theories but they're going to recast him. They just had to give it time,
I'm sorry, what are you about to say, Mike?
I was going to say, people keep forgetting about Kevin Cole, though. White Tiger. People keep forgetting about
Casper.
Yeah, Casper Cole. Yeah, people the White Panther. What about him? Because he had the mantle for a minute. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken, didn't he have the mantle for a minute?
He never had the mantle of Black Panther. He had a Panther suit, and he was given a Panther suit, after he kind of proved himself. But he never actually had the mantle.
But so he didn't have the mantle, but his story right there, you can kind of go from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Siri just can't be Black Panther. I'm sorry. But it's just, I know it's in the comic, but I didn't like it in the comic. I mean, this movie had to happen so Black Panther could get recasted. Without this movie, you can't really recast it. This movie is helping all of us move on.
Move on, exactly.
And you could not recast him without this movie. This movie is serving its purpose. Do I feel like he should be recasted? Absolutely, because there were Panthers before T'Challa. Am I? What about T'Chaka? I mean, am I wrong about that? There were Panthers before T'Challa. You know what I'm saying? So Black Panther, the idea is bigger than not the actor, but the man.
Right.
Comic book wise, the idea of the Black Panther is bigger than the man. It's the ideology. You know what I'm saying? The Black Panther's the protector. And they said it in the movie. Just because my brother is dead, that does not mean that the Black Panther is gone. True. That line is extremely powerful. That's why I say this movie had to happen so Black Panther can be recasted. Are they still going to get some flack? Hell yeah. But people don't want change. But change is coming. They preach about change. They want change, just not when they're not ready. And I'm never going to be ready to see another Black Panther. But when I see it, I just hope that he does a fantastic job. And I hope that he has thick skin, because no matter what he does, he will be hated on because of the great Chadwick. And it sucks that that's how our world is, but that's how it is. I, for one, want to see him recasted because, like Brookston said, for all the Black kids, and you know, you can't let that go. You cannot. The idea of the Panther is bigger than the man in the suit, not bigger than Chadwick. I would never say that because that's not true. Bigger than the man in the suit, comic book wise.
Right.
MCU has to move on, and this movie is telling us we have to move on too. But
it was like mourning.
Yeah, but moving on does not mean forgetting. Moving on does not mean tarnishing a legacy. Moving on does not mean that we're not grateful. We're very grateful for Chadwick. We were very grateful for him. We have to give somebody else a chance now, but that could not have been done without this movie. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him recasted. I do. I mean, Black Panther is just such a spectacular character, and the character means so much. It would be a travesty to not have someone else play him, and Siri can't do it. I'm sorry. It's just not. I don't like it. I don't. I didn't like her in that suit. It was awesome what she did. She had to do it. She came to terms. It was awesome that Siri was us, pretty much. His sister was us. Like, she represented us pretty much, like going through what she was going through. Mm-hmm. Honestly, without the royalty and stuff, we went through that too, as far as the grief. You know what I'm saying? We're still going through that.
Oh, yeah.
But seeing her journey and then the end scene, it helps. It helps. Like you said, it peeled the scab off. But sometimes when you peel the scab off after a little bit of time, it's already healed under that scab. So it's like, we needed this movie more than we think we did. We needed this movie not only to pay tribute to Chadwick, but to have the strength to grieve and move on. Yes.
Exactly. And it was done well. It was done well to bridge that gap between this and what's coming.
It needs to be recasted, and it's not disrespectful at all. You know, it's not disrespectful. It's not even business. It's culture. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to stay true to the source material, there were other Panthers. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Needs to be recasted.
I don't have a problem with them recasting. I just have a problem with after people watch the movie, they'll say, man, he should have been recast. I was like, no, like you just said, the whole purpose of the movie was for us to move on, for them to properly pay tribute to Chadwick. It, like, you know what I'm saying? That was the purpose of the movie. That's the big purpose of the movie. I do want to say though, I gotta give props to, is it Letitia Wright? That's her name,
so.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Gotta give props to her, man, because like for her to even do that first scene where she has to pretend to have to save her, I know that had to have been super hard. Like Brookson said, you can kind of see her becoming her comic book counterpart. You know what I'm saying? I gotta give props to her, man. Like, I mean, everybody in that movie, like you said, just brought it. They brought it 100%, man. Like everybody, Angela Bassett especially, man. My God, she's still cut.
Hail to the queen.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Hold on for 1 second, guys. Pause. Yeah, there was a bug, and I had to kill it.
Yo, don't edit that, yo.
I will. I have to.
Don't edit that. Keep that. Please keep that.
You're starting the whole podcast to kill a bug.
Yes, sir. Your opinion about Phase 4 in general. What are your thoughts on Phase 4? Precise.
Just give it a chance and see what happens. I mean, you know, a lot of things that we think are great now, we didn't want to give chances to. We almost, like, there were people that were there were people that didn't want to see a Black Panther movie because they scared it was going to be done wrong. Give it a chance. Now look at us. There were people that doubted Heath Ledger as a Joker. Give it a chance. Now look, arguing as the greatest Joker of all time. You know, give it a chance, man. Like, we could sit and bellyache about how it's going to be strange and how it feels strange. Yeah, life is feeling strange. We're getting older. I tell people, yo, son, 40 is different. Like, I never knew. Like, 40 is different, bro. Like, seriously different. You got to give it a chance because things are changing. You know what I'm saying? Like, things are changing. We're changing as fans. We're growing up as fans, you know? So it's going to feel wonky. It's going to feel weird. That's just how life is, man. Change isn't comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Change is not comfortable at all. So I say with Phase 4 or Phase whatever, just give it a chance. See what happens, man. I never thought that Ant-Man would be a movie. And then I never thought Ant-Man would be a good movie. Ant-Man's pretty dope. People don't want to give it up, but Ant-Man's a pretty dope movie. I was one of those people that thought, nah, that's going to be garbage. I know that. And then we gave it a chance. It happened. And it's like, hey, you know what? He's actually a big part of this now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just got to start to give things a chance. And if we take anything away from this movie, is never forget, but never be scared to move on. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
What about you, Dynamite?
Phase 4, I think, you know, like I said before, I think Phase 4 was supposed to be more Black Panther centric. And so, you know, but without that, you know what I mean, it kind of left it with all of these parts with no center because they always had a single thread like connecting things. And I think that one thing that kind of messed up Phase 4 for a lot of fans, I think, was a lot of expectations because you know that the X-Men are coming, you know Fantastic Four are coming, you know all of these things are coming. So you're looking for it everywhere. Like when WandaVision was going on, anytime they seen something red, Mephisto, and it's like, am I saying his name right, Mephisto?
Yeah.
Sure.
I read it, but I never hear it. But yeah, everywhere they see Mephisto everywhere. And then when he didn't show up, it's like, this show sucks. It's like, no, your expectations was just beyond what they're actually giving you right now. We got all of these shows, we got all of these movies. Take these movies and shows for what they are, because Marvel has already shown that they can give us a gun-toting raccoon and a talking tree and we're gonna love it. You know what I mean? So take it for what it is. And, you know, but I do think that it just felt a little unfocused, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, Phase 4 just ended with Wakanda Forever. So I think it was unfocused. It had some highlights, it had some lights or whatever, but, you know what I mean? Overall, I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the previous phases. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like I said, you know, I think it would have been more Wakanda-centric, more Black Panther-centric. And without that, they had to just rearrange things and make it work without them. And they, you know, they made it work for the most part. You know what I'm saying? I mean, There are some that I enjoy more than others. And I think that a lot of that I didn't enjoy because I got caught up in the hype of expectations. Like even with Multiverse of Madness, with a name like Multiverse of Madness, I'm expecting it to be on the level of Anything Everywhere All at Once. I'm expecting it to go crazy. You know what I mean? But it really didn't go crazy. It was good, but it didn't go crazy like I expected. And then in the trailer, they raised their expectations when they showed the Illuminati in the trailer. Now, if you know the Illuminati is only going to get 10, 15 minutes of screen time, don't put them in the trailer. Just tell me it's Multiverse of Madness, go on with it, and then when the Illuminati shows up in the movie, it's like a mind-blowing experience. But you already see it in the trailer. And so you see it in the trailer, and now your expectations is that they're going to be all throughout the movie, which I kind of tapered down my expectations when dealing with No Way Home. When I found out that, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield was going to be in it, I'm like, yeah, they're going to probably get a cameo. The screen is going to flash and show them, all right, and it's going to move on. But then they were actually prominent parts of the movie. You know what I'm saying? So that exceeded my expectations because I was hyped through that whole thing. But Multiverse of Madness and their Illuminati, I was just like, okay, kill Professor X. That sucks. And moving right along, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Phase 4 was good, not great. It was good though. It had some great moments, but it was good. I don't think the overall thing was great. No Way Home was great. Wakanda Forever, I loved it. Didn't like it, but I loved it.
What a choice of words.
Huh?
I said, what a choice of words with the hesitation. Like, didn't say great. I loved it, but I didn't like it. Like that was such an awesome choice of words down to the pause. Like that was
I'm
so
emotional,
well
man.
that was so well thought out, bro. Like I just gotta give it your props for that. It's the perfect review. Like I feel that. You and Brookston killed this, man. Like it's so that oh man, that was awesome.
What's going on Phase 4, Brooks?
I mean, they're world building. They're having to account for the losses. They're having to account for, contracts being up. They're having to account for, it's like we don't have the big three anymore. So things aren't as stable. So they have to world build. They have to, and I'm just taking it for what it's worth. Is it exciting as some of the previous phases? No, not at all. But like I said, they're going somewhere with all of this.
Yeah.
All of the TV shows and all of the stuff, like it's all interconnected. And when Namor said in the movie, I was born a mutant, that only piggybacks off of what Kamala was saying at the end of her series.
Yep. Right.
When they mentioned, they first used that word mutant, and you heard that little riff, like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
Now, mind you, a lot of people didn't watch that series, and I understand why, but
it was butt. Like, yeah.
But
I'm still working my way through it.
But I watched it on principle. You know what I'm saying? I won't be watching it again. But
just out of obligation, you have to watch it. It's your duty.
I mean, because honestly, I like Kamala Khan, the character in the comic. So I wanted to see what kind of justice they were gonna do to her, like in live action. So I had to see. But it's just little stuff like that. Like, I mean, they're world building. They took some heavy losses. Now they're kind of drawing back the punt, and they're building this here. They're building this here. They're expanding their universe. We got Quantumania coming back. We've already been exposed to the multiverse, like people have said before. There's so many possibilities now, and they're just kind of setting things in place. And while everything is not the most exciting right now, I mean, I'm not going to say I have high expectations, but I have high hopes for Phase 5.
Yeah, for sure. I do think that I think it was slightly irresponsible for Kevin Feige to say they're not going to recast T'Challa. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was, and just kind of in the same way where he was like, well, you don't need to watch WandaVision in order to really enjoy Multiverse of Madness. I'm like, you kind of do.
Yeah, you kind of do. That was a lie.
Really appreciate
that was a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, his back was against the wall, and he said some dumb shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Some dumb shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, come on now.
Like he should have said, like what he should have said was, we're not going to recast the 616. Isn't it 616?
Yeah,
The MCU
believe so.
616, right?
Sure.
They should say we're not going to cast the 616 T'Challa, but there are possibilities that because there are different variants and different multiverses of T'Challa, there's a possibility you might see one of those. You know what I'm saying? What you about to say?
Everybody would have just been just fine if he said that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a completely acceptable answer.
Yeah, for sure. But real quick, tell people how they can reach you. Start off with Precise.
Oh man, Precise Politics, PRECYCE. Excuse me, PRECYCE. I had to cough. POLITIX, and it's actually Googleable. That's a word now. It's actually Googleable.
Googleable.
It's Googleable, fam. You can actually Google it. Precise Politics. You can also Google Stallone and Weathers. You know, we got a new project on the way. We've been releasing new music, new videos. We're about to drop another video in about a week. And that's how you can reach me, man. Facebook is Precise Politics. Instagram is Cice Boogie, CYCEBOOGI. And Twitter is Precise, at Precise, PRECYCE. And yeah, slide in the DMs.
Cool. Dynamite.
Man of mystery. I'll be there when you need me.
That's fire.
I like that.
That's fire.
What about you, B?
Me? I'm an average Joe. You know, I'm just doing my thing. I'm not out here trying to be anybody. I'm just, you know, if anybody wants to get a hold of me, get an email.
Gotcha.
You gotta say
right
his
on.
name.
But
You gotta say his name 5 times with some pizza, like a pizza pie.
Oh yeah, I'll pop up
Oh
in the
yeah,
jiffy, boy.
pizza spot.
Ready to sacrifice the pizza to the beard god, yo. Like,
sure.
that's how you do it.
But guys, hey, thank you for doing this, man. Thank you all. Thank you all for your time. I really appreciate you coming on the show, man. I
appreciate you having me, bro.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
man.
One love.
Take it easy.
Yes, sir.